I am a victim of a hate crime.
This video popped up on my On This Day from 2 years ago, and now that it's 2 years later and I'm in a year and a half no contact and I'm a certified trauma recovery coach, I want to talk about what was really happening here. Before I begin, obviously it's okay to turn your partner down. At any given time, you have the right to say no. That said, you can see how I said I'm the horny one, because I was made to believe that I was way out of line and asking way too much to even ask every couple of months. What can happen is, and what happened in my case, is that an abusive person will use sex right up front, hot and heavy, all the time. It's just the thing that they lure you in with. And it can also be a number one sign that you have fallen from that pedestal. The mask drops and they all of a sudden change. They're not doing those things that they were doing all the time. The love bombing stops and all of a sudden the devaluation begins. So all of a sudden when you start asking for or sort of expecting this thing that had been happening for weeks or months up until today, you're the bad guy. So for 2.5 years in my relationship, except for the first couple of weeks, anytime that I would initiate it, I was guilt tripped. I was made to feel bad. I was made to feel like I was too much, like there was no one in the world who would ever want it as much as I did. And I'm like a normal human being. Sex can also be used as a reward and a punishment when it comes to abuse. They withhold it from you, and it becomes blatantly obvious that they're withholding it from you. And if you're like me, you all of a sudden become desperate for it because you don't understand what changed, what you did wrong, why all of a sudden you're a sack of potatoes. So you're waiting and hoping, and then all of a sudden they give it to you. It's a reward. It's like a slot machine going off at a casino. And then they withhold it again. And it goes around and around and around. And so you're constantly dancing around, waiting for that next zing from the slot machine. And it can also be used to lure you back in. If they notice that you're starting to pull away, you're getting a little distant, maybe you say you want to leave the relationship, all of a sudden, boom, they're all about you. They're no longer saying all those things they did to devalue you when you were trying to have sex a couple weeks ago. When they were like, I don't know, I'm not that interested. You're not like you used to be. You're this, you're that. You're not like my exes. All the things that they say to you to make you feel like crap so that you don't even want to have sex, even though you do because you're still waiting for the slot machine. This is what sex can be like with an abusive person. Or I guess not be like. So I want you to know, because for a very long time, one, I felt like I was absolutely undesirable and no one would ever want me again. And two, that I was unreasonable for even having sex cross my mind. This is no way to be treated. Again, we're not talking about normal differences in libido. Nobody deserves to have sex or affection or something especially so raw and vulnerable used as a punishment and a reward. And you do not deserve to feel guilty for just being a human being.